right, fantastic. Welcome to The Process, where I take you through my process of how I make music. My name is Charles Taylor. Thank you for tuning in. And today, let's learn Reaper. I want to start a series where we kind of learn Reaper together. I have opened it and kind of done a little bit of a workflow so far, and I have a very kind of specific idea of how I want to customize Reaper for my specific workflow, and I think it might be beneficial for you guys to check out and learn along with me, because I think some of the things that I want to integrate into the workflow might be useful for you in whatever tools you end up working with. For myself, if I take you to this view here, you can see I have my MPC. This is my main tool that I use for music creation. But I also have a controller here, and I will be mapping this controller into Reaper. Just not in today's session, because we're just going to learn chunks at a time. I think that's the best way of doing so. I'm going to try and keep this session to an hour in length. Although I still haven't set up a timer inside of OBS. So yeah, we're learning everything little by little. Right now we're going to just turn on the laptop here, the MPC, and I'm going to basically just be sending output audio into Reaper as is. So let's also pull up Reaper, and the reason, not necessarily the reason, let's show you what I'm seeing. We'll go into standalone mode. Still evaluating. Okay, so this is great. Yeah. I haven't really customized all that much in Reaper. It should probably look pretty familiar to you in this format. This is what it looks like when you first open it up. I have moved the transport bar, I believe it's called, up here and centered it, and that's pretty much it. We're looking at the mixer, and I have our track view over here as well. This is the default toolbar. I haven't customed anything in there. I have gone into my preferences and done a few settings in there as well, but nothing too crazy. Now I will turn on my APC. Actually, I'm not using anything just yet. Eventually, I'm going to map kind of all these parameters, but this is going to be an awesome tool as well, because I plan on mapping each of these buttons to perform different actions, essentially. Whatever action that I know I'm going to end up using a lot. And I might even do the whole put masking tape over the buttons and kind of write what action they do on it. So that might be something to, look forward to seeing in the future. So obviously, plug in, hit that subscribe, and all that jazz. Last time I was kind of working on a track that I called Nothing. This one has lyrics and stuff, so we're not going to go into that just yet. I'm going to pull up a track here inside the MPC, and then we're also going to where is it? Okay, I saved it as a project template. So I have a couple project templates saved. One is going to be the 8 tracks, where I have 8 tracks of the MPC, and they're all mapped to each MPC, or APC I should say, each channel, so that when I move a fader on track 8 here, it's going to move the fader inside of Reaper on track 8 as well and correspond with the panning and all that kind of stuff. Nothing is actually mapped there, but I have a project template saved. Maybe I'll just load it up so you guys can see that as well. So that's tracks 1 through 8, obviously. And you can tell I was kind of just messing around with some plugins and whatnot. What else was I doing in here? Nothing too special. So let's go back to project templates and standalone tracking / mixdown. That's what I really wanted to get into today. Just to kind of see some stuff here. I don't know how much of Reaper we're going to end up learning. You know what? To make this super productive, let's actually project settings. I haven't really toyed around with the project settings page at all. So let's start going through this before I end up playing any music for you. Let's start with the very first page. Project. Okay, so that for sure we're just going to change right away here. Project sample rate. If unset, hardware default will be used. So I mean, okay, great. Project tempo, don't care. Beats, length, rate, sounds good. Time base for tempo, time stretch signature, time signature envelope. I'm not too sure exactly what that means, but I'm sure I understand when it's in practice. Project start time, great. Start time measure, playback, resample. We're gonna go to go. We're gonna use good, because I know that is a setting that is preferable. Okay, pitch shifter parameter. Normal. Stretch marker mode balanced. Save as project default. Cool. Let's go into the next window. Media. Oh, right. Path to save media. Now, I'm not going to mess around with this here because you can see I have two, oh, you probably can't see this, but I actually have two separate versions of Reaper. So this is the main Reaper that was installed, and then you can install like multiple iterations of Reaper if you weren't already aware. So we're just going to close this down and pull up Reaper here. And you can see that this is almost looking exactly the same. We're going to go into MIDI devices, and I'm going to disable this. Awesome. That is what we want. That's what we want. Close that. Okay, let's full screen this. This looks pretty much exactly the same as before, except the transport bar is down there. So let's dock transport transport in Docker in main window. There we go. So if you want to move the transport position, I like to put it above ruler, and then transport. There is a way to center transport controls. That's what we want to do as well. Now, oh, that's what I can accomplish today. I'm going to be very happy if I can accomplish this. When we have a new track here, I want to see a routing button. On a lot of YouTube videos that I'm seeing, there is a routing button that you can see in the mixer. If I pull this up, this routing button, so that if I want to simply click this, control click, option click. Let's try alt click. There we go. you can alt click that and turn off the routing to the master, not to the master. And the different lines through this routing icon mean different things. And you can also simply click and drag, and that changes the routing there. Oh boy. My son's coughing a lot. So you can see that this is routing button is now blue, and that signifies that it is receiving receives track 1 if we hover over, and we can see sends track 2. So yellow looks like it's sending, and blue looks like it's receiving. Great. If you just simply click on it, you get this pop-up window for your routing options, and in here there are a bunch of the same normal things as well. One of the things that I want to have is excuse me, this control is controlling the pan, but I also want to control the stereo width as well. So that is in there somewhere. But all that is to say, let's remove from track 1, delete. Cool. All right. This is also, like, I haven't really studied this. So yeah, we have this section on the left side looks to be like the settings for the actual track itself. We're sending to the master. You can have parent channels. You can have a number of channels, track channels. The decibels here, if you want to type it in or use this slider, double click to move to return. This is panning left and right, and this is the stereo width. Negative 100, I think, would probably just swap the channels, would be my assumption. Center width is just mono, and then this is just your normal left and right. So yeah, that can be useful, I guess. And I want to get this control into the track control as well, so that I have two dials. Cool. Playback time offset. Sweet, so you can offset each track right there. That's good to know. Sends, you can add a new send or just use this drop down menu. Hardware outputs, you can send this directly to hardware outputs. I didn't know that, and that is going to be extremely useful for me because this is an MPC sampler, so I can send a track directly out to the channel that is coming into. Sorry, I can send a track out through my audio interface, and that's not coming to my headphones, that's going directly into the MPC. Alright, I like to talk things through in my head so that I get it in my head, and hopefully it's not too boring or sidetracking for you guys here. MIDI hardware output, you can do the same thing, obviously, and which is good because again I can do the same but with MIDI, and we can say receives from all tracks and yada yada. Alright, cool. Now I understand the routing menu that I haven't quite paid attention to just yet. So fantastic. Let's get this routing button up in our track. That's our mission to accomplish. And then I'm going to play some music, and maybe we'll finish off by going through some project settings here. I feel like it might actually be in the project settings. Could be. We went through project settings, media. Oh, I didn't even answer the question of how this is different here. This version of Reaper that I have installed, I have this extension here, this option to have extensions, repack, but I don't have that in the other version, And this is important because I don't think without this, I can insert a virtual instrument track and do I think it's relearn. Yes, I can do MIDI relearn, and I can connect my APC and then map all the controls. So this is a MIDI mapper, a much more detailed MIDI mapper than the one that comes with Reaper. And that's what I will be using when I eventually do this in a different session of mapping the APC. I'll also make those mappings available to anybody that wants to download them or whatever, use it in the thing. Okay, sweet. That's the project settings button right there. That's good to know. Path files to save media files. We will come back to that setting on import. Use global preference. Yep. Recording audio wave 24-bit PCM. Yes. I'm not sure what BWF is. Format for apply effects glue freeze. Default format for project. Okay. Video. We're not going into video just yet. Advanced. Item behavior mix. Oh yeah. Enclosed item replaces enclosing items. That's definitely what we want. Track mixing bit depth 64-bit float. Sounds good to me. Allow feedback in routing. We don't want to allow feedback in routing. External timecode synchronization. That's okay. Limit project length. Okay, let's do that. I think that's 10 minutes. So let's just say 20. Enable pitch, preserve pitch when changing rate for new items. I think I'm gonna want that on. Pan law. I haven't gone down the rabbit hole of pan law just yet. Oh, this is what we were looking for. Pan, stereo balance, mono pan, default stereo pan, dual pan. Hey. Stereo pan, dual pan. I'm pretty sure I want dual pan, but it's not showing up in, oh, there it is. Yeah. So now we have left and right channels individually here. Alternatively, if we hit the I button, come back into dual pan. That's pan, and that's width. Okay, so interesting. Okay. I like the way that it was presented there before. Ooh, some stuff here. Cool. Master track. There's lots of menus to go through. Lots and lots and lots. I'm glancing through there. All right. Let's right click on a track and see if we can start envelopes. We don't want envelopes. Track layout, default, mixer panel. Okay. A, B, C. A, B, C. Okay, so apparently that does nothing, but track layout, default, global layout, default. Track panel. Yeah, what if I increase? Makes no difference there. Okay. Track performance options. Allow media buffering, prevent media buffering, allow anticipative effects, enable track metering, prevent special peaks / spectrogram. Interesting. Track automation mode. I think this, coming from Ableton, I think this is going to take a little bit getting used to. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of crossover between these automation modes, obviously, like read and write, but I'm not really understanding what trim versus read and latch preview, like what do those mean? I don't know. Okay. Track icon, track color. Set tracks to one random color. Ooh, track manager. No. Set selection from project from list. Let's do that. Offset. Okay. Mute, solo, record, lock. What's that? Height lock. MIDI. Where were we? Track manager. Okay, meters. We don't need to go into there. I understand what that is. Automatic record arm when track selected. Freeze item positioning. Lock track height. Lock track controls. MIDI track controls. Okay. Render freeze tracks. Cool. We got some options there. Move tracks to new sub project. Cool. I do know that you can have multiple projects open at the same time in Reaper. Don't know if I'll ever use that feature, but cool. And now I know that there's a quick and easy way of just right click, move tracks to new sub project. Cool. Duplicate tracks, remove tracks, save tracks as track template, insert tracks from templates, insert virtual instruments, insert new track at end of track list, insert new track. Okay. So it's not in there. View, tempo envelope, mixer, floating mixer, monitoring effects. Let's say boom. So I have this plugin here on my effects monitoring. Oh, and it's up here. Cool. So yeah, that's where I wanted it. Now, what if I see new project tab? And that's what we were just talking about here. Having a new project tab. I feel like I should be playing some background music or something. This is probably so boring. But honestly, this is just for me to get in the habit of like streaming online. How far in are we? I've been streaming for almost 25 minutes. And we've just done a lot of reading. We haven't done much of anything else. Always show project tabs. Like that selection. Show project tabs on the left side of window. What's that? Oh, okay. No. Let's show it at the top. Hide background project effects MIDI windows. Run background projects. Run stopped background projects. Play stop background projects with active project. Offline background project media. Sub project rendering. Interesting. Monitoring effects. That's where we just were. Cool. So this is up there, and I can turn that on and off. That's good to know. I mean, this is not what we set out to learn, but we are up here anyways. View, that's how we got there. Monitoring effects. Transport. Video. Right. Docker. Toolbar Docker. What? You can have multiple toolbars? I didn't know that. Edit me. Oh boy. Rabbit hole. Get out, get out. Rabbit hole. Okay. So. Okay. Docker. View. Docker. And that's Alt D. Alt D. Okay, so for now, let's hide that because that's ultimately what I want. Media Explorer. Okay. And that just goes into the Docker, which is cool. And oh, sweet. So let's hide that for now. View, routing matrix, grouping matrix. I've seen those before. I don't want to get into it. Track wiring. Okay. Again, that's going to be stuff for a later date, if ever. Project Media FX Bay. Ooh, interesting stuff there. Track Manager. That's where we were before. Track Manager, Screen Sets, Layouts. Track Views. Okay. View. Region Marker Manager. Okay, if I ever have regions and markers. Effects Browser. Cool. And that's Shift F. So FX. Cool. So we got D for our Docker / mixer. Oh boy. And Shift F for that. Those are two shortcuts I'm definitely going to want to memorize. Medium item properties. No, we don't need that. Big clock. What? No way. Cool. We just have a big clock up there. Oh, sweet. Big dot clock in Docker. Minutes, seconds, measures, beats, seconds, samples, hours, minutes, frames, absolute frames, beats, colors, image length, 4 beats. What? Visual click, background image. All right. Performance meter. Oh, cool. That's good to know. View. We're getting there. This is tedious. Peaks, display mode. Spectral peaks, spectrogram plus peaks, display. Cool. Navigator. What in, oh. Ooh. I mean, if I had like a second window or something, maybe, I don't know. But it's interesting that that's there, the navigator. Scale finder, virtual MIDI keyboard, show hide all floating windows, cascade all floating windows, time unit for ruler. Yeah, cool. We understand that. Zoom are settings that I'm probably going to want to change at some point. Go to, jump to, edit cursor, play cursor, always on top, full screen. Damn, we went through the entire view menu. Oh, what? Where did this come from? Where the frick did that come from? How? What? What? How is that here? Okay. I see what's happening here. So if I have my mixer pulled up, the routing option is just down there. If I close my mixer, then it's here. My preference would be to just have it on both. But for now, we're just going to keep that as is. We accomplished it. We accomplished what I wanted to do today in terms of learning something new in Reaper. And we also learned a bunch of other stuff as well. And I kind of customized some more settings inside of the Reaper project that includes the extensions, which is great. I'm going to add 8 tracks, and we are going to go to File, Project Templates, save as a project template, and we're going to call this 8 track. And this is the template that we're going to use to map our controller eventually. Let's insert a new track, pull this above, and alright, whatever, we'll insert it here. Virtual instrument on new track. Relearn. Shout out to the guys who make Relearn. If you haven't checked out this program, please do. Relearn. I don't know if they're actually a part of the Reaper team or not, but definitely a very, very useful tool. Very useful indeed. Let's actually just kind of pull up this here. Oh, 1 second. Yeah, okay, so that's still acting as before. This is actions. I don't think I want actions. Yes, this is what I need. Focusrite USB MIDI. No, this is going to be input like that. And then this is what we want to configure for control messages. And I don't really need to send anything out. So let's go like this. Now let's Relearn is on here. Cool. Damn, see, I'm already starting to get into stuff I said I wasn't going to. We will save feedback eventually. Connected but disabled. Oh, I think I need feedback turned on because I have lights here, and the input values can correspond to the light where they are there. So let's go into options, preferences, MIDI devices, and select my device and enable output on this device. Now if I come into here, sweet, that looks good. Show controller compliant for picking a controller preset. No, make compliant for the real mappings. And if we do like this, cool. I'm gonna be able to save as a preset. And then ideally, I think that anybody with the APC 40 Mark II should be able to download this preset once it's finished. So we just select add mapping. It's pretty simple. We're going to learn a source, and I click that, then I move a parameter on my APC, which is the first fader for track 1. And then I'm going to scroll up here, and we're going to learn target, and then I will move the volume knob for track number 1. And now we can actually control the volume for track number 1. And just to see that a little bit more clearly, down here in the corner, that's exactly what is happening. Boom. So now here is the other thing. So now I want to edit this. I was curious to see if I could set a max value . Oh, there it is right here. Max value of 0 decibels. Hit OK. Yeah, nice. So now I can just slam this fader up, and I know that if it's all the way up, it's going to be at 0 decibels. If I need to go beyond that, then I'm going to be, I just won't. And even still, I can compensate for gain on a plugin, in a plugin or something. Cool. Yeah, sweet. Maybe what we can do for the time being is just add one more, click learn source, move a fader, learn target, move a fader. Now this works, and we're going to go through to them one by one. Learn source, learn this, boom. And like that, add one, learn source, move my fader, learn target, move this, sweet. There we go. So we're going to select learn source. That should be channel 5, sweet. On channel 5, I'm going to learn target, sweet. Channel 6, we're going to learn source. Source is learned, learn target, target learned, learn source, learn target. Oh, learn source, learn target. Fantastic. Let's select this, delete. Good. So now I want to edit these one by one. Select the max value to be 0. Double check it. Good. Next up, max value 0. Enter. Double check. Edit number 6. Max value 0. Slam that up. Edit max value 0. Slam it up. That is 5. And we go to 4. 0 for my max value, slam it up. That's what we wanted to see. 3. Edit. Max value is 0. Edit. Max value 0. Awesome. So now I'm going to delete this And I'm also going to save this as project template, replace it. Now we're good. Cool. We're going to start from scratch here. I'm going to add a track, but this track should be here, I think. Yep. Awesome. So this is just going to be, let's group these or put these all in a folder. See, I want to be able to just drag in. That's not the case. Show track icons in Mixer. Group folders to the left. I know I'm going to want that. Show folders. Group tracks that have receives to the left. Clickable icon for folder tracks to show and hide children. That is what I want. All right, it's not working in the mixer, but I know that what? Okay, so this guy goes here. Hey, that's not what I want. And 7 is here. So that goes here. Okay. I was a bit disorganized there. Sorry about that. This one's here. So this one is the one that we want to move all the way up. Press like that. Take this guy out. Jeez. That's what I want to do. That is what I want to do. Set that to 0. So we're going to rename this guy. See, if I double click this, I want to be able to rename. That's not so the case right here. But I think we can rename right there. And we're going to call this FX. Cool. I'm going to add a channel. Put it above. And we're going to call this MPC in. Oh, shoot. Undo that. Sweet. And all that is good. Maybe you guys can kind of tell what I'm going for right here. Routing is fine. We want an effects on here. We're going to say all plugins. Verb 8. 100% wet. Initial delay. Say 3 milliseconds. Room size. Stereo width. Dampening. Something like that. Should do. MPC in, we're going to want to arm this to record. It should be picking up my voice right now, but we don't want that. We're going to say input 3 and 4 for stereo. After all that, we might be able to hear some sound now. That's why. And for you guys, I think you can only hear what's coming directly from the MPC, which is cool because that gives us a starting point. So if I hit that, you should be able to see my MPC. Sweet, my screen is working. 45 minutes for the stream. That's pretty good. Last 15 minutes, we're just gonna muck about, as they say. Now, I might be doubling up on this track. Filters. I'm actually here in OBS, messing around here. I'm gonna want to add this, and we'll say gain. Select the plugin. And I think, excuse me, load, gain reduction, scope, delay, dynamics, filters, guitars. Oh boy. I'm looking for a delay. Not a delay, a gain utility. Here we go. Volume. Like that. And then we're going to put this above. Just like that. Let's turn this guy off. Let's see if this works. Sweet, that's what I want, because I'm pretty sure, oh, you know what? I should be recording this too. I'll have to play it back on YouTube. I have channels coming in directly from the MPC. That's right here, input 3 and input 4. You can see the meters go up as I play this. And if I don't have this turned on my DAW channel, I think it actually picks up the volume as well. And so you probably hear doubling up is probably twice as loud or something like that. That's not what we want, because here is what we actually have. Restream. But Restream is not on because I need to go into Reaper. Now let's see if we can do my monitor effects here. Add effects. Let me say Restream. Sure. We'll say like that. Sure. Send local broadcast. Perfect. Everything's working. Except you guys probably have it doubled up. So now we're going to hide our input channels from our MPC. And now you guys are just hearing Reaper. And that's important now, because what I can do is say routing receives MPC, and let's see if we can select all and change the routing for all. Hey, look at that. Look at that. Reaper is working the way I want. Now here's the thing though. Oh, there it is, a track that is not wanting. Oh, I see. So track here. Let's undo that. This is not effects. This is going to be 8. Okay, so 8. You gotta get down. Which one? This one here. That's number 1. 8. You gotta go down here. This one here. 4. This guy is needs to be labeled FX. And then we need to group everything underneath. Sweet. Now let's go like that. And all of these channels should be turned down. And we want to delete that one. Boom. Sweet. Now if I pull this up, it should be reverb. That's a lot of work. I know it's a lot of work. 50 minutes. We've been streaming for 50 minutes. We got 10 left. Pretty much 9 actually. So 9 minutes left. That's a lot of work just to get a little bit of a reverb sound going on. But if we mute, it does make a difference. And it's not just reverb that we can add as an effect. This is going to be 8 here. Should say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sweet. Now I have another sequence too. With some drums. And sweet, so that's going to be one verb. Let's add another effect. Clear our filter, and it's going to be some delay. Turn down the dry. There we go. I don't actually want a delay. Let's replace this. Let's go to JS. Yeah, let's do some bit reduction. Cool. Now let's add some crunch. Through distortion. add the distortion before the bit reducer. And with and without effects. Cool. Yeah, so I mean that's just a beat to mess around with. It's obviously not structured or anything like that. Um, let's route to receive from MPC. All right, so here's where I'm going to save as a template. Boom. Save. Yes. And although this last, 20 minutes or whatever it was of mucking about wasn't really like learning Reaper per se. As we were toying around with the beat and messing around with the sound and setting things up to work with the controller, I am getting more acquainted with Reaper and indeed learning Reaper at that. So hopefully a lot of this kind of can cross over to what you are doing in Reaper and what you want to be doing in Reaper. Just a quick, I'm going to hit play and make sure that everything was coming through. Cool. So it seems like the stream was picking up the audio, which is good because I've done that before where I have been streaming for a long session and none of the audio is actually going, or just my vocal mic is going, and that's kind of embarrassing. But nonetheless, yeah, should I summarize? I don't know. We kind of bounced around all over the place in Reaper, and I talk things through a lot, which definitely helps to learn. I feel way more acquainted with kind of what's happening in Reaper, and I learned a couple short keys. Alt D to pull up your Docker, or which my mixer is going to be pretty much always down there, and what is it? Shift F for adding an effect. Yeah, so I mean that's cool. I don't know where that effect just went, but okay, there it is. Remove. Cool. And I set up, most importantly, I set up a template for my workflow. That's probably the most productive thing I've done all session, is to set up this template so that next time I load up Reaper, I can just load up this project template and kind of go from there, knowing that first off, my controller is mapped for the volumes of some of these effects and stuff, which you can hear, just having some static fuzz dithering happening in the background is always a sweet effect to add. So we'll just call this track 2 lo-fi. So we got some reverb, we got some lo-fi happening, and that's pretty much it. Yeah, my name is Charles Taylor. This has been The Process. Next session, we will pick up where we left off. Thank you for tuning in. You can catch all of my content, obviously, on YouTube. I'm on other platforms as well. If you have been going back into my archives and watching these streams from this point forward, then please consider supporting me, because it does make a huge difference. Absolutely. And connect with me on Discord. I think that's it. Cheers. It's been over an hour. Peace. All that good stuff.